Dear readers, welcome to our channel, where we always follow the latest events related to natural phenomena and cataclysms. Heavy rains have hit the south of France, forcing the authorities of the Department of Rocks to introduce a red alert level. Downpours, which bring with them the risk of flooding, have already led to serious consequences in several regions of the Republic. The city of Lemos has been particularly hard hit, where the water has paralyzed traffic and some buildings have been flooded. Forecast meteorologists warn that unfavorable weather conditions may persist in France for several more days. In the northwest of France, in the Department of Maine, locals faced an unusual natural phenomenon. A tornado struck 3 settlements in Mirol, damaging farm buildings. Power supply problems were also observed. However, it is rejoicing that residential houses were not damaged in this incident and, according to eyewitnesses, there were no casualties among the population. The tornado lasted only a few minutes, but managed to cause some damage. It should also be noted that in the Alps region, the heat wave was replaced by powerful thunderstorms accompanied by heavy rains and strong wind gusts. These natural phenomena may pose additional challenges for local residents and safety-minded professionals. We urge all our viewers to be vigilant and follow the advice of local authorities and meteorologists to avoid potential disasters. Stay safe and stay tuned to our news channel for up-to-date information on natural events and disasters. Last Sunday, southeastern Spain found itself at the center of a natural disaster when thundery downpours accompanied by large hail and violent winds hit the area. Local residents and authorities faced a difficult situation, in which wind gusts in some places exceeded 22 meters per second, and the diameter of hail reached 4 to 5 centimeters. Despite the fact that summer was coming to an end, the natural disaster demonstrated its strength and unexpectedness. One of the most affected areas was the city of Benaguasil, part of the province of Valencia. Footage presented in the media shows destroyed vineyards and fruit trees after a heavy downpour with hail. Not only agriculture, but also the infrastructure of the city suffered serious losses. A similar situation was observed in the Spanish province of Albacete, where the capital is the city of Albacete. Here too, thunderstorm showers accompanied by hail and squally winds were reported, creating serious challenges for local residents and authorities. This unfortunate incident reminds us of the importance of being prepared for natural disasters and the need to follow safety measures in the event of natural disasters. The forces of nature are sometimes unpredictable, and only a competent response and solidarity can help to cope. Local authorities have already started activities to rebuild the areas affected by the disaster. We hope that help will arrive quickly and efficiently, and that the community will unite in supporting the affected families and rebuilding the affected areas. In the recent earthquakes in the Turkish city of Malatya, 9 high-rise residential buildings were damaged, rendering them completely uninhabitable due to extensive damage. This comes in the context of earlier earthquakes in Turkey that occurred in February this year and killed more than 50,000 people in 10 different provinces of the country. It should be noted that the natural disaster at the time caused many buildings to collapse across the country. On the coast of Cape Town, one of South Africa's most picturesque cities, nature showed its strength and power when powerful ocean waves hit the coast. This natural disaster hit the famous Bikini Beach, leaving behind a wave of destruction, flooded homes, and dozens of cars swept into the ocean. Traffic on the coastal part of the city was practically paralyzed, and the sea itself carried away not only cars, but also some buildings. The elements, natural phenomena that we cannot control, always remind us of their power and unpredictability. This event is a reminder that we humans need to be more vigilant and prepared for disasters that may arise as a result of natural forces. At this time, Cape Town authorities have yet to report the number of people affected by the disaster. Emergency workers and local organizations are actively working to determine the extent of the damage and assistance to those affected. Libya faced unimaginable tragedy when a massive flood caused by Hurricane Danielle completely covered the Al Mohali Desert with water. This natural disaster left terrible consequences and more than 11,000 people were killed, with another 20,000 missing. Tens of thousands of people have been left homeless and forced to seek shelter in difficult conditions. The flooding has led to an extremely difficult situation in Libya. The frightening number of dead and missing means that hundreds of families have lost loved ones and the country as a whole is going through difficult moments. State and local authorities have stepped up to provide aid to the victims and organize search and rescue. However, the disaster does not end there. Epidemiologists warn that the next test for Libya could be an epidemic caused by a massive spill of contaminated water. Contaminated bodies of water could become hotbeds of infection, threatening the health and lives of those forced to use the water for drinking and agriculture. Canada's shores faced a powerful Atlantic storm that brought hurricane-force winds and heavy downpours with thunderstorms. The greatest destruction was recorded in the province of Nova Scotia, where the storm felled trees on power lines. More than 150,000 residents were left without light, and going out on the streets became a dangerous undertaking, given the wind speed reaching 25 meters per second. Giant waves raged on the coast, creating additional problems. This Atlantic storm has proven to be a challenge for residents in Canada, especially in Nova Scotia. High wind speeds and heavy rains have caused numerous accidents and damage, leading to the evacuation of some neighborhoods. Authorities and emergency services are actively working to restore power and provide assistance to those affected. Emergency response crews are busy fixing emergencies and restoring infrastructure. Specialists warn that the storm is still dangerous and carries potential hazards. Wind speed and raging waves make the coast especially vulnerable. Residents in the region are therefore urged to take precautions and follow the instructions of local authorities. Atlantic storm Lee left its trail of destruction as it reached the Canadian coast. Accompanied by hurricane-force winds, intense downpours and thunderstorms, this natural disaster caused the greatest destruction in the province of Nova Scotia. The storm claimed lives and left more than 150,000 residents without power. Danger on the streets increased as wind speeds reached 25 meters per second and giant waves raged on the coast. Trees felled by the hurricane winds cut power lines, worsening the situation. Experts warn that Storm Lee is far from over and will continue its onslaught. All eyes are now on the northeastern United States, where they are preparing for the hurricane's arrival. Preparations have already begun in New England, but the first signs of the storm are already being felt. Strong winds and heavy rains have caused flooding, and there are the first casualties. In Maine, a man died when a tree fell on his car. Residents of the large Chinese city of Guangzhou are facing the consequences of heavy rains that have caused flooding. The metropolis, which is the capital of Guangdong Province and an important cultural and transportation center in southern China, was hit by the elements on Sunday night when more than 200 millimeters of rain fell in 5 hours. This caused significant flooding, affecting some residential areas as well as schools. People on the streets had to navigate knee-deep and even waist-deep in water. The flooding also caused severe traffic jams, leading to the closure of some transportation routes. Local residents shared that many of them were only able to get home from work after midnight due to severe transportation delays. This event reminds us of the importance of taking care of natural phenomena and how vulnerable cities are to extreme weather conditions. India's rainy season has led to unparalleled flooding in the west-central part of the country. The Shipra River overflowed its banks, and as a result, many kilometers of territory were underwater. Residential areas were inundated, traffic on major highways was suspended, and the city of temples, a sacred place for Hindus, was also submerged due to the sudden rise in water levels. Severe flooding also hit a province in Indonesia, where a local river overflowed its banks. The exact number of victims and casualties is still unknown. The cause of the sudden flooding was a downpour that lasted for 3 hours in the territory of the province of North Maluku,